Hey guys, so once again out on the trail, let me just show you where we are. It is absolutely a beautiful spot here along the forest trail. So let me show you the view. Absolutely beautiful. Let me show you the tree behind. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot there. Absolutely stunning. See that hawthorn just really, really full of life and really, really vibrant. And you can see all the stingers there. Everything is so green and so alive, guys. So I've cycled up along the trail this morning to a wonderful little place called Forest Row, and met up with the wonderful Matt from Golden Glow Reiki, and we just shared breakfast together, shared a coffee, and really crunched some amazing ideas all about bikes and beyond. So really excited as we go forwards to share some of that as that begins to unfold. Just had the most amazing morning with Matt, and one of the things that really struck a chord with me with sharing with Matt is, his kind of philosophy that when you kind of share time with people is to kind of leave them in a better place than they were previously. Leave them in a better place from where you found them. And I just thought, well, that absolutely is what it's all about. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with you lots as it unfolds. And talking of stingers, I'm surrounded by them at the moment. As I said, the hawthorn there in the background, beautiful fields, and then either side of me is loads of stingers. This time next week, we are out on a wild food foraging course. And we're being led out by the countryside ranger, who's going to kind of show us the medicinal uses of the plants their ancestors used for medicine and for food and for tea. So I believe that at the end of that we're going to be making a stinger soup, so that's going to be really fantastic. Hope we'll be able to catch some of that on video. So really guys, what I wanted to share with you and what struck a chord was kind of sharing it and listening to Matt. His kind of philosophy is all about leaving someone in a better place than when you kind of from when you found them, from when you spent time with them. And that really struck a chord with me of something that somebody said to me over this last week. They were feeling really kind of lost and disorientated, and said, why aren't spirit helping me? And that's kind of made me think that, looking back on my own experiences over these years, if I kind of go back around the 4 year mark, I'm I wake up and I'm lying in a hospital bed, and just gently try to picture this. I'm lying in a hospital bed, and the whole of my world is completely changed, and in so many ways completely turned upside down. It was totally stripped back. And I kind of remember lying there, kind of reaching out to spirit and saying, what, I really need help right now. I really need some guidance. I really need to figure all this out. And the thing is, over the years, guys, no matter what's happened in this life, I've always had a sense of the innate of spirit, kind of being there and kind of holding me and reassuring me, and quite often always sensed that it was always going to be okay. But this particular time, there was a sense of nothing. It was absolutely silent, but silent in a empty sense. It was empty. In a very kind of quiet, lonely sense. It was almost as if something had gone. And in a kind of way, when I look back at that experience, I absolutely was going through what I would consider, the void, the spiritual death. I was going through a complete spiritual death. It was one of the most challenging, powerful, transformational, traumatic, amazing times within my life. And I kind of went into that experience, every day kind of trying to search for that sense of presence that was always there, and there was absolute nothing. And physically, it was hugely challenging. I was learning to walk again. I was, learning to find my feet, and begin to become stronger and begin to recover. And that recovery took roundabout about 9 months. So you know, it was a long journey, a fairly long journey. And during that time, you know, I did become stronger. I did find my feet, you know, all the time, kind of becoming stronger and stronger. And literally finding my feet. And one of the things that started to happen was that instead of kind of, you know, relying upon the innate, or relying upon spirit, I started to kind of self-navigate my world. You know, the whole thing about Spirit Meets Adventure, one of the things is to, you know, kind of inspire us to overcome, you know, to find endurance, find adaptability, overcome that kind of adversity. And really importantly, if you kind of look at, you know, sometimes we are in terrains that you have to navigate, you know, so kind of translate that into life. And it's, you know, kind of that strong sense of self, endurance, abdominal spirit, and beginning to self-navigate, you know, find your own way. And that's this whole experience over these 9 months. That's what I begin to tap into. I started to figure things out for myself, started to make my own choices, started to kind of begin to rebuild my world from the ground up, from what I felt, rather than this kind of voice nudging me, or this voice guiding me. And I can remember, you know, coming out the other side of that and thinking to myself, you know, it's impacted, at first it really impacted my trust. You know, I went through, I believe, kind of a crisis of faith. You know, when I need you the most, Spirit, where the bloody well hell are you? You know, you're not there. And then kind of coming out the other side of that, I realised how much that had impacted my trust in them. And I can remember, you know, around about the 9-month mark, feeling a lot stronger, back on my feet. You know, really feeling really physically strong, and kind of emotionally stronger than I had ever felt. And began to kind of really kind of find my world again, and thinking about, you know, it's time to go back to serve, it's time to consult, and having a completely different kind of, you know, attitude to the impacted trust that I had with them. You know, I kind of found this sense of acceptance to the situation. And then I woke up one morning thinking to myself, you know, maybe it's time. And I could feel this warmth around me, this feeling of being held, and kind of a warm, comforting feeling. I thought, you know what, you're taking the freaking pee, you know. There you are now as I begin to go back, but when I needed you the most, where were you? And I kind of, you know, straight away had this voice that come back to me, and said, from deep inside of me, said, you know, it being spirit, and the innate saying, well, if we told you to jump off a cliff right now, would you? And I kind of laughed, and you know, at the same time was filled with clarity and complete illumination, and totally got the teaching, totally got the lesson. And I realised, you know, it's a bit like with a parent with a child, you know, a child taking its first steps. As a parent, we need to stand back and allow them to take those first steps. And yes, they may fall, but you know, it's all about them taking those steps and finding their own way in the world. And it's exactly that. You know, I realised very powerfully that they had absolutely empowered me to find that self-reliance, find that inner compass. You know, we talk about the inner compass a lot within Spirit Meets Adventure, that kind of sense of navigating your own world. That absolutely completely was forced upon me, and I started totally to trust in myself, gained a stronger sense of self, so that teaching was worth its weight in gold. And I kind of think back, you know, look back on my life, and if someone said to me, and people have said to me, would I change any of that now? I wouldn't change any of it. At the time, I was absolutely, you know, calling out, please help me change this. I want all this to be taken away. I want all this pain to be taken away. But now, the other side of that experience, looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. It taught me so much, you know. Within life, you know, sometimes, you know, we look that we seem to make mistakes. I don't see them as mistakes, by the way. You know, I see them as lessons, and quite often, sometimes they're worth their weight in gold. So, you know, the biggest thing that it gave me was that they empowered me. They were like the parent standing back, and they were showing me and indirectly teaching me to trust in myself. You know, I think that that's the healthy approach, that we are in partnership with Spirit, that we do not become reliant on them, that we also, you know, have a trust within ourselves. And I think that's the best and the healthiest approach. So when, you know, someone says to me, you know, why isn't Spirit helping me? Just like me, through my own experience, when I look back at that, you know, this voice said to me, you know, after all of this, said, you know what, Shane, we're always there. We were standing there beside you. We were watching, and you know, I wouldn't change that. And my whole attitude to kind of working in partnership with Spirit is really changed. That I know that there are times that we've got to absolutely completely self-navigate all of this. So guys, wanted to share that with you. As I say, that this time next week we'll be out on the trail with the Countryside Ranger, learning the medicinal properties of the plants our ancestors used, and then a big bowl of stinger soup. And I say, what a wonderful morning. I was so blessed to share, meet up and connect with Matt from Golden Glow Reiki, and have the most wonderful breakfast and share all about bikes and beyond. So we hope to, this time next week, cut some video footage of us out on the trail with the Countryside Ranger, looking at the medicinal uses and the food uses and the tea uses of the plants that our ancestors used. But in the meantime, guys, know that Spirit are always helping, even when you feel they're not. And wishing you all the most amazing and wonderful day. Take care, guys. Bye bye.